I think we were at the gallery, and Walter called from Pasadena. He said, I'm into a very, very important meeting here. We're making some really critical decisions, but I'll be there in an hour. Okay, 3-4 hours later, he said, I'm in downtown LA, and I am involved, and you guys are, I mean, this is big, this is big. I'll be there in half an hour. 2 hours later, he calls, I'm at the upper end of La Cienega. I've stopped for just a minute. I'm having a conversation. This is a very critical one. I'll be there in 10 minutes. And then we didn't hear from him for like a month.
Walter would go into these periods that he'd just kind of disappear and do weird things. When he was married to Shirley and they had a house, I know he disappeared for 2 or 3 days and no one knew where he was, and it turned out he was up in the attic.
I can't think of two partners in memory who are more polar opposites than Walter and Irving. It's just inevitable that they'd have problems.
Or a Ferris gallery of any sort was ultimately not going to satisfy Walter. You know, he had bigger visions. He wanted to do more and include more people.
Walter wants to give Thelonious Monk the baddest concert in Carnegie Hall possible. He wants to take Irwin and get Irwin to do a straight, unfettered line across the sky. I mean, he's just going for that. What's possible? How far can we push it?
Walter Hopps had the offer of this curatorial position, and we spoke about it, and he seemed really like he wanted to do it. And as far as I was concerned, that was fine. And I felt that I could carry the gallery.
Well, there was tremendous excitement with the old Pasadena Art Museum, and I was able to do, on astoundingly small amounts of money, the shows I most wanted to do. I did the first retrospective anywhere on pop art.
Everybody was dealing with the Pasadena Museum because the Pasadena Museum was where Walter was, and Walter was having these incredible shows. Walter was the first one to put together the Common Objects show, which is the first time Warhol and Richet and Lichtenstein and all these guys have been put together.
Walter's groundbreaking show was the first to celebrate the new pop art. Richet designed a poster accordingly, calling a printing company, dictating the text, and giving the simple instruction, make it loud.
Pasadena Art Museum suddenly became known for doing these very forward-thinking, looking shows that they weren't even doing on the East Coast. They weren't doing them in New York. This was happening in this little western town.
Mais en fait, quand vous parlez d'anti-art, c'était quand même très révolutionnaire à l'époque. Oui, très révolutionnaire parce que...
Walter really found a niche at Pasadena Museum, and then his big coup was putting on the first Duchamp retrospective. Walter so clearly was addicted to Duchamp that Duchamp was conscious of this and you know, made it happen.
Mais qu'est-ce qui vous a amené à organiser cette exposition ici?
C'est par moi, c'est Hopps, Walter Hopps, le jeune directeur du musée de Pasadena, qui est venu il y a un an à peu près à New York m'en parler et je trouvais très sympathique.
Well, the Duchamp show was major. The impact was tremendous. It's hard to think of any one single exhibition that had the impact on this town, because it came at a time when a lot of these things were gelling. It was all kind of coming together, and the LA County Museum was building, and the gallery scene was impressing, and people were actually building collections.
In all of Southern California, there will begin to unfold before you the realization of a dream so exciting that it
It's almost the culmination of all that this great community could ever wish for. This is the opening of the new Los Angeles County Museum of Art.